Like, there's
most people in the industry are related.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that interesting? Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Think about it. Look at Wanye right now with his sons.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why he signed them to marry. I don't get it. The can't read.
Real life. It ain't real life. Just say real thing. Real life street stars. Know what time it is.
It's not becoming of our culture, of our people.
But I'm going after our people. Do they sound like our people?
Hey. Hey.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Hey. Hey.
I don't know them.
What? And Jack, let me ask, because you mentioned...
I recognize the color, you know what I'm saying? But the spirit is all... You know, they selling melanin now.
I heard you could bottle it up. Jack, you mentioned Erykah Badu, and you had said that you are related.
Yeah.
Faith is related. And you had mentioned that your relation, you know, kind of the family tree of it all.
Just like Snoop is related to Brandy and
yeah, I just saw Instagram posted a list of people who are related. I was like, oh, like there's a lot.
Most people in the industry are related.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Isn't that interesting? Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Think about it. Look at Wanye right now with his sons.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why he signed them to marry. I don't get it. The can't read. Why would you trust a contract coming from a bitch that can't read? Clearly she didn't write it. And if she can't read, then clearly she didn't read it. So who's writing the fucking contract that those kids signed?
Yeah.
It ain't her.
Yeah.
And guess what? Considering the deal their father signed, I don't know. You know, Boyz II Men got fucked. They got raped by Michael Bivins. Raped. And I'm not saying sexual assault. I'm talking about pockets.
Yeah, man.
Right through.
Very bad.
They had one of the worst recording contracts ever. It was almost as if Michael Bivins was like having like PTSD from New Edition being a child star and said, I'm going to find some real talented guys.
Do this again.
And I'm going to fuck them over worse than we did. Again. So we can say it happened to somebody else.
That's PTSD for you. Like we're gonna.
Jaguar Wright has once again stirred up heated discussions with her claims about Jay-Z and the NDA she had to sign while working with him. In the past, her words were often dismissed or overlooked, but now they're being taken more seriously. These resurfaced allegations have sent shockwaves through the music industry, especially in light of the recent sexual assault lawsuit. Let's take a closer look at what Jaguar Wright revealed and how her experiences uncover a darker side of the entertainment world.
Why would you sit there and say, man, we had the #1 record and we were still on food stamps, and then force your group to do that?
Hey, man.
Why would you do that?
To be your own people.
You want to know how fucked off it was for Big Mike at the end of his run before he had to leave Boyz II Men?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please.
Let me tell you how bad his finances had gotten after his wife ran through what lump sum of money they had on that god-awful soul food restaurant that lacked soul and promptness. 6 hours to get a turkey wing platter. 6 hours. We used to call it opening to get it in time for dinner. Get your order in as soon as they open if you want to have it by 6. That was the joke around Voorhees.
Jeez.
Jill bought their house. She got it cheap. It would have been a $750,000 home back then, but they were forced to knock $250,000 off the top because of the structural damage. Apparently, they weren't able to take care of that home. It was riddled with termites He said the only thing holding it up was the paint. They needed the money. So Jill squeezed. And they sold that house for very much more than $400,000 less what it was worth. And they broke even.
So,
Is it the way you hate me, baby? That was my cousin Alma that sang that.
oh,
Yeah.
oh. The apple don't fall far.
Oh, you don't want to diss me.
The apple don't fall far.
You don't want to diss me.
Jack-
I know you. Bitch. Wait a second. Did you hear what I just said? Michael Bivins fucked over Boys to Men. And when Big Mike got sick, apparently there wasn't enough money available to help them through their hard times.
That's how it goes.
They didn't even promote that soul food restaurant.
Damn.
I mean, I can understand why it was some nigga shit, but maybe if they had got some real help, maybe they could have hired somebody to come in and help manage it.
Recently, social media has been buzzing with talk about Jaguar Wright's bold accusations. With a lawsuit now accusing Jay-Z and Diddy of serious misconduct making headlines, many are revisiting Wright's earlier claims. She has long spoken about her time in the industry being plagued by secrecy, manipulation, and exploitation. One of the most shocking parts of her revelations is how NDAs were used to silence her and others who dared to speak out.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day, though. We were just saying, I had brought this point up. I said, Johnny Depp didn't sue just because he was going to get money out of Amber Heard. Like, it wasn't even about that. It was because he wanted to fix his name, for him to be able to get notoriety and jobs, the things that are, to whatever his legacy is in Hollywood. That's why he wanted to sue. He didn't really care about, I don't think he did it for money, because I'm thinking in my mind, like, he has to know that he wasn't going to get anything, to what he's worth. I think he sued because he wanted to clear his name from the Amber Heard situation, which she had initially put out. And that's the thing, is like, yeah, I mean, you might not be worth anything, and they could sue you just to clear the name if they have the money to do so. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. You never know.
I totally agree with you. First of all, again, I just want to reiterate that I'm so grateful that individuals like you are covering this story, and you're not allowing her to change your focus onto something else that she thinks is more, significant. For example, I think she's fuming the flames for the accuser to take the heat off of herself, but you're still keeping the eye on the mark. Like, you're not allowing somebody to tell you, this is what you need to look at. Don't look at me and the lies that I'm spreading. And I just think that it takes a certain level of dedication to stick to what really, really matters. And that's commendable. It really is. And I appreciate people like yourself. For me, I do see a direct correlation between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. I think that this is exactly the same situation in which a woman are making claims in order to get interviews. And I mean, she put out an article.
It was the Washington Post.
Correct. I watched the trial. She alluded to him being an abuser, right? And the way that Jaguar Wright has similarly done the same thing, she used his name and is now trying to, backtrack. But my thing is this: it was publicized. It's still on Netflix. Everybody, all the public got to see what was actually happening in the trial, which helped revert back the opinion, to which he was able to now then work again and, win back his favor. And I think that that's what Jay-Z should do as well. I think that if he does sue her, it should be publicized so that everything can be dismantled and pulled apart as far as the claims that she's made over the years, because this is just one of many. This is one of many. There are so many vicious
there's many
accusations. Yeah. And my thing is, when I went on the Star Report, people were saying, well, Sunday, it sounds as though you are straddling the fence as far as
Wright has revealed that signing NDAs was a common practice when working with Jay-Z and other major figures in the industry. However, she alleges that these agreements went far beyond protecting trade secrets or business deals. According to Wright, the NDAs were used as a means of silencing people, preventing them from exposing anything that might tarnish reputations, even if it involved unethical or illegal actions. She describes these contracts as powerful tools of control, designed to keep the truth about the industry's darker side hidden.
Nothing is black and white. And I do think that, just being a person who's familiar with the music industry, I've been a singer since 18. I know what goes on. A lot of them have, intercourse. The rappers sleep with the singers.
Yeah.
The actresses sleep with the directors. I mean, this stuff is common. You know what I mean? Like, it's not unheard of for there to be some sort of
It sounded
commingling.
like, because I did hear you, and I felt like you were trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, right? Which happens a lot. Like, I have seen, like, for example, shout out to Sean Davy Way. Sean Davy Way, I remember that at one point he was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he was helpful to Jaguar Wright at one point, and she can't sustain any relationship. Like, I saw that play out too in OKP, Official King Payne. Like, these creators were very helpful at some point, just trying to advocate for her, whatever they can do to help. But then it became to a point where she just backstabbed them. That's what she does. And that's what she's going to do to everybody because she's done it before. That's why I'm like, I hope that, all calls are being recorded when it comes to this woman.
Yeah.
Expect your calls to be recorded. Expect them to be released. Okay. So if you've had a one-to-one heartfelt situation with her, she's probably recorded it. And it'll be released for content at some point when you piss her off and you're not on her side. I've seen she has done it to too many people here since 2020 when she first 2019, 2020 when she first came out. I saw it all play out. Yeah.
Well, this is the thing, I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with that. I feel like if you speak your truth and you're not a dishonest, deceptive person, you have nothing to hide. If somebody puts out a private conversation, that's not a bad thing if you are telling the truth in whatever, the context is. So I don't have any fear about being exposed. She thinks she can expose me. She really does. And she's probably researching me now. She can expose me because I've already exposed myself. You can't expose someone who has nothing to hide, who doesn't have secrets. She accused me of being a terrible mother, saying that I'm on the internet all day, not taking care of my child. She made false allegations about me being a sex worker. So she inflates things. And ironically, her son has gone on a huge platform with over 1 million subscribers and talked about at a great length of how terrible of a mother she is. And she went.
Wright's allegations are deeply unsettling. She has spoken about witnessing abusive practices, including holding people against their will and manipulating situations to force compliance. In an interview, she even compared these tactics to the tragic case of Aaliyah, suggesting that some of the industry's biggest stars have used their power to exploit others without facing consequences. Her statements reveal a troubling picture of an industry where power is wielded to protect the powerful and silence the vulnerable.
While I was online, but I think that picture is from Bad Boy Weekend in the Hamptons. It was Bad Boy and Rockefeller Weekend in the Hamptons. You understand? It was, I remember Stacey Dash and Aaliyah, they was on Rockefeller team. You understand? And Bad Boy had their artists and stuff like that. And they were all playing softball up there in the Hamptons. And later on, Puff gave a white party, at his house. He gave a party at his house, the one he had in the Hamptons. And I was the one who was letting people in the front. I had the door in the front. So when people drive in, they come up in there, whatever like that. I was the one who let them in. It was a private party like that, only for Bad Boy and Rockefeller people. But it was nothing like freaky about that picture, nothing like that. I think he got the idea from, it used to be this club in Miami and they used to have beds everywhere. So I think he was just trying to get that type of feel like from Miami, like that club was. So, but as far as some freaky stuff, I think that's like a week later, Aaliyah died in a plane crash, after that party up there. So, it wasn't nothing freaky about that, man. That's just people making up shit and saying things. But it was nothing like that. I even got a picture from that weekend where I'm on the baseball field walking and Puffin them was like in front of me right there. I got that picture still. It was a Polaroid. I still got that picture. So you know how people going to make up stuff? They're going to cut, paste, post, and all this other stuff for views and then try to make it seem like it's something when it's not.
Yeah, they trying to make it seem like it's something that's not. But how you feel about Diddy lawyer? He trying to get him transferred to a jail in New Jersey to get better access to him?
It's not up to Diddy lawyer. It's up to the prison system. The judge even told him, the judge cannot tell the Department of Corrections, the prison department, how to run a prison. Now, he was supposed to get him in some kind of medical facility because of he think that his life is in danger. Yeah, every prisoner life is in danger. So they trying to get some special, but that's up to the prison system based on his evaluation from his psych evaluation. And they looking at the fact that Epstein, who may have some dealings with Diddy, he died in that place. So they may have a good case, but it's still up to the prison system to decide where he go. And the lawyer, and they don't care how much money you got, but it's based on the lawyer. So that's why if you ever you seen online recently, people coming out, they getting ex-COs or wardens or detectives to speak out and say how dangerous Brooklyn MDC is. That's their lawyers and them paying people to come out and talk about that, so to try to help persuade the courts, which is the part of the prison system, to see what they're going to do. Would they do anything to say, yo, listen here, man, this guy's life might be danger over here because people think that he has something to do with Pac. People think he has something to do with Biggie, and they right here in Brooklyn. You understand? It's right here in Brooklyn, and some of the people are still mad that he made making of the band walk to Brooklyn from, to get the cheesecake, and just around the corner from the Cheesecake Factory. So, Juniors. So it might be some dumb shit. So y'all need to get him out of here and ship him to Jersey because somebody gonna kill him over here. Those are good arguments, if you want to call it, but it's bullshit. He gonna get the same treatment no matter how much money he got from them correction officers. Because if they don't and they get caught giving him preferential treatment, they're gonna lose their job.
So you feel like Pac fans will try to do something to him?
Pac and Biggie fans. He can have issues with both of them because a lot of people think, because of the statement that Keith D made, that he did something to Pac. A lot of people know or think that because of Biggie leaving, they finding out that Biggie was leaving Bad Boy, that he may have had something to do with Biggie. People feel that way. You hear it all the time. You see it all the time on the chats and all that stuff.
Have you heard the reports about Diddy being worried about his kids?
Bro, he get phone conversation. He get a phone call just like everybody else. And now they got all kinds of things where they got guys
What makes Jaguar Wright's story even more compelling is how often she's been dismissed or ridiculed for speaking out. Despite the seriousness of her claims, she has faced intense backlash from fans, industry insiders, and even fellow artists. Many had accused her of seeking attention or trying to damage the reputations of beloved figures like Jay-Z and Beyoncé. However, as new allegations come to light, Wright's warnings seem far from baseless. Instead, they may have been early attempts to expose a system carefully designed to silence those who dare to speak the truth.
A 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men at a Video Music Awards after party in 2000. In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?" He added, "My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people." Joining us now, Joey Jackson, CNN legal analyst and criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. There's a lot to unpack here. Joey, I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it. It's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
So based on the allegations, Jessica, good morning, good to see you. I think that it certainly could be. Why do I say that? Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her, and that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally. Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right, more than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress. Number three, that she phone called her dad, who showed up, the 13-year-old, and now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and, you know, we'll see what happens if the DA looks and investigates.
So what happens now?
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder.
The recent lawsuit involving Jay-Z and Diddy has cast Jaguar Wright's past statements in a new light. The allegations, stemming from an incident in 2000, have led many to revisit Wright's interviews and public comments. Social media platforms are abuzz with users noting how her claims align with the disturbing details of the lawsuit. Comments such as "Jaguar Wright literally predicted this," and "she's been right all along" are proliferating on platforms like Twitter, with some individuals even apologizing for not believing her earlier.
Well, who knows what's going to happen with that? I mean, we don't know if the feds are going to be looking into this. They may well be at this point. I think that there are people further looking into Diddy. I think there might be a superseding indictment coming and probably looking into the people that he's associated with himself. But this also may well be beyond the statute of limitations. So it really just depends. I mean, as it stands right now, I can't imagine that there's enough evidence to necessarily bring something, because somebody's accuser saying something happened 24 years ago without more evidence is probably not going to be enough. But then again, we don't know what evidence she has. So it really remains to be seen if this is actually going to be passed on to the criminal authorities or if they're working on it at this point.
All right, so jury deliberations in the Daniel Penny case are set to resume today after the judge dismissed Penny's second-degree manslaughter charge, which carried a 15-year prison sentence. A jury is now being asked to consider a charge of criminally negligent homicide, which carries a 4-year prison sentence. Tell us what criminally negligent homicide is, and should Daniel Penny be worried about being found guilty of it?
Well, criminally negligent homicide is that he did not act as a reasonable person should have under the circumstances. And this is just very troubling because I was looking at the verdict form, and the verdict form actually says for count 1, which is the manslaughter, if you find him not guilty, then you move on to count 2, which is the criminally negligent homicide. That didn't happen here. There was no finding of guilt of guilt or any acquittal. It was just they were deadlocked. They sent a note. They said we can't come to a conclusion. The judge made them go back and keep deliberating, and then treating it almost like an a la carte menu. The state decided to say, all right, well, we'll just dismiss that count. We'll proceed on the second count. Well, that's not what the jury verdict says. That's not how they were charged. It's very, very inappropriate what happened here. His attorneys were outraged. They have every right to be. This is unfortunate. Whether he should be worried or not, I'm a little bit concerned that there wasn't just an acquittal or not guilty. So there are obviously holdouts on the jury that believe that his conduct, at least for the manslaughter count, had risen to the level of recklessness, which would assume that it rises to the level of negligence. So I don't know. I mean, I think that there is a chance that he could be, but I also think it's equally, probably more so, that it's, again, a hung jury.
We will be watching it all. Lexi, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
The recent lawsuit involving Jay-Z and Diddy has cast a spotlight on the use of non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, in the entertainment industry. While NDAs are legal tools designed to protect confidential business information, their misuse can have serious consequences. Jaguar Wright's experiences suggest that these agreements can be weaponized to suppress voices and shield perpetrators of abuse.
This week's Burden of Proof, civil rights attorney Ariva Martin joins me to break some of these down. Ariva, good to see you. Thanks for being here on this weekend. Hip-hop mogul Jay-Z facing a rape allegation. Sean Carter, his real name, is doubling down against his accuser, saying she's looking for money and fame, releasing a new statement overnight, calling for the claims to be actually dismissed. What are you watching for in this case?
Well, Sean Carter, Jay-Z has good reason to ask for this case to be dismissed. The accuser came out and did an interview. Now, we didn't get to see her face. We didn't get to learn her name. But in the interview, she gave some statements that were inconsistent with the statements or the accusations, I should say, that are made in her lawsuit. And it does raise serious questions about the credibility of this accuser. One of the things that stood out to me, Phil, was her father. Her father was also contacted by the news media because in her interview, she says her dad picked her up from Sean Diddy Combs' home after the rape she said that occurred after she said Jay-Z and Sean Combs raped her. Her dad said he had no recollection of this incident. And clearly a dad, as he said, would remember something this serious, this egregious. So I think there are some serious questions that need to be answered. And the way you get those questions answered when you are a defendant in a lawsuit is by filing the kind of motion that I anticipate we'll see filed by Jay-Z's law firm, because there are questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Fair enough. So let's go over to Sean Diddy Combs. He's facing some new rape allegations from 3 more men. According to new civil lawsuits, the men say Diddy sexually assaulted them between 2019 and 2022. So these are more recent claims. Diddy's attorney says the allegations are false. The men's attorney says he was contacted by more than 60 people, but only chose to file these 3 cases so far because he vetted them. I'm wondering if you think we could see more lawsuits of this kind.
Well, absolutely. We know a Houston attorney has said he plans to file over 100 lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs. He says hundreds of people have come to his office, have contacted his office about rape or sexual assault allegations involving Sean Combs. One thing I think is important, Phil, many of these claims happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, like the case of Jay-Z. And we know statistically, women in particular don't. The accuser in Jay-Z's case is lying about her claim, but these claims can be very difficult, particularly when they happened so many years ago. Memories fade. Information about the claims becomes difficult to ascertain. But in the case of these three men that have just filed civil complaints against Sean Combs, these are allegations that are between 2019 and 2022. So they're more recent claims. And they have, again, some very specific allegations in their complaints. Obviously, this may lead to further criminal investigation by prosecutors. And we could see, if these claims are valid or prosecutors believe they are valid, we could see superseding indictments filed against Sean Combs based on these three rape allegations. But again, at this point, there are allegations. Nothing's been proven in a court of law, but they are very serious and could lead to additional felony charges.
Moving now to country star Morgan Wallen, pleading guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges of reckless endangerment for throwing a chair off the roof of a bar, nearly hitting 2 police officers. He was sentenced to 7 days in a DUI education center and 2 years probation. So first, what are DUI education centers? And then how common is it for people to receive that type of sentence?
Pretty common. Particularly, it appears that this country singer may have an issue with alcohol or maybe substance abuse, and these kind of diversionary programs are appropriate when someone has engaged in this kind of conduct. No violence created, no one injured by him throwing the chair off the roof of this bar. So I think this was the appropriate plea for him, and I think the punishment fits the crime.
All right. Civil rights attorney Areva Martin. Areva, thanks so much. Always good to see you.
Thanks, Phil. My pleasure.
Her story also serves as a call to action for the industry and society at large. It's a reminder that we need to create safer spaces for whistleblowers and survivors to share their experiences without fear of retaliation. It's also a challenge to fans and consumers to hold their favorite artists and companies accountable. The entertainment industry is driven by public support, and that support can be a powerful force for change if wielded responsibly.
We've got some breaking news to get to. A civil lawsuit has been filed against Jay-Z, saying the rapper raped a 13-year-old girl back in 2000. The suit alleges that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, raped the girl after the Video Music Awards alongside Sean Diddy Combs. The victim says she was invited to an after party after being spotted by a limo driver and was then assaulted by both rappers. Jay-Z is calling this a blackmail attempt. He released a statement on social media responding to the lawsuit, and Texas attorney behind the legal action saying in part, these allegations are so heinous in nature, you have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same.